news,
Lobbyists are fed up with politicians accepting their money and then not coming through.
opinion,
When the automated police force orders you inside, that's just them doing their job.
remix.
Even lost my job partially due to the whole global warming issue. Increase in oil prices. This guy's scared.
This is Top Story with Kelly Klass and Jill Skeen,
I've been a listener for about 20 years.
How can you make me feel better?
where the news meets your opinion. Pick up the phone and talk about it. 736-0300. That's 736-0300. Now, here's the hosts of Top Story, Kelly Klass and Jill Skeen.
And welcome to Top Story. 736-0300 is always the number to call. Good morning, Jill.
Good morning, Kelly.
We've got a full docket today.
Yes, we do.
We're going to start off with Paul Arrington. He's the attorney for Omega Point Productions on the upcoming Snake River Canyon jump. Then we've got the cops with the bad guys list. Con Paulo Chevrolet celebrating 35th year anniversary. We're going to talk to him, see what his secret is, you know? And then at 9 o'clock, we've got Kelton Hatch with Idaho Fish and Game. So we've got
boom, boom, boom.
one thing want to tell you before we get to Paul Arrington here is that there was an accident last night. The eastbound lanes of I-84 have been closed while crews are cleaning up after the semi-truck crash which spilled hazardous materials. Travelers are being diverted around the crash site, so it is, I mean, you can still get through, but the interstate, the eastbound lanes of the interstate, this is, I believe, mileposts. Thought I had it written down here. Milepost 1, the high 190s to the low 200s. I mean, 191 to 204, I believe, in there are closed. So keep that in mind as you are traveling in the eastbound lanes of I-84 this morning. I don't know that they're open yet. We have not heard that they have been reopened. So
Looked pretty bad last night.
we're still going with the fact that that's been closed. But that's just the eastbound lane. If you're traveling west, you're okay.
All righty.
So keep that in mind. So we have Paul Arrington with us this morning. He's the attorney for Omega Point Productions. Scott Truax and Eddie Braun are planning a jump across the Snake River Canyon. And apparently we have some news. Good morning, Paul. How are you today?
Good morning, Paul.
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
We're great.
We're swell.
Good.
You
I'm
ha-
calling from Boise. I'm on my family vacation, giving time for you guys because
You are
I love
so
you guys.
You know,
kind and nice.
Just send us a bill.
That's right.
Oh, it's already in the mail.
Yeah, I imagine.
So what's the latest, Paul? What's going on with the jump?
The ramp is built. I don't know if you've seen it. It's up and it's beautiful. Flags have been planted on the top, and it's ready to go.
It's like, what, 100 feet long, 88 feet high or something like that?
88 feet high. The ramp itself is 100 feet long, and beautiful, red, white, and blue, and it's ready to go.
So if people drove in that direction over east of the Hanson Bridge, they would be able to look around and see that sticking up through the air.
You should be able to see it from the highway and from the freeway there.
Yeah, very
Okay,
cool.
great. So what
But I know
else?
that's not why you had me on the phone this morning.
That's
I
not,
don't think
no.
so. I'm glad the ramp's ready to go. How about the rest of the
Now,
jump?
what's the other shoe that's going to fall
So,
there?
well, I'll tell you this. We are permitted through Jerome County to jump on September 1st, though we had our plan was to have that moved and to try and jump on September 7th. And you probably saw here a month ago, or actually it hasn't been a month, a few weeks ago, Fox Broadcasting absolutely backed out of the hopeful arrangement for them to broadcast the event and help cover some of these costs. And when they backed out, we kind of went back to the drawing board and said, all right, what are our plans? What's going to happen here? Are we going to be able to still jump this thing in early September? And we're looking at the tests that still need to happen. We've got a static test. We've got parachute tests. We've got test launches. We've got tests that still need to happen. And we were just cutting it way too close for September, or an early September launch. So I sent yesterday, hopefully, if it didn't go out in the mail yesterday, it'll be out in the mail today, a letter to the counties and to the BLM and fire, informing them that the jump will not happen as we had hoped in early September. Our plan now is that we are going to, in early September, do these launches, and we're developing some strategies to get some buzz around that, and with that buzz around these tests, use that to create some excitement in further negotiations with additional broadcasters. So the short of it is, although I'm hopeful that the launch will happen this year, I think the realities of network negotiations are such that it likely will be early next year. Next year. Early is, I guess, a relative term. It won't happen in February.
Yeah.
But early next year likely is probably more likely as to when it will happen.
Okay.
So
I'm disappointed, but I led off with the ramp being constructed for a reason, because I don't want this to be construed as it's not going to happen, because we've got 3 rockets built, we've got the ramp built, we've had our dirt guy out there clearing and leveling it out for the parking area. $1 million has been spent on this thing, and we're not walking away, because we have the tangible, we have everything ready. Next week the parachutes are going to be tested. This is going to happen, unfortunately, and it's sad for me, and I think probably for the community to some extent as well. It's just not going to happen in early September.
Okay.
So my question, Paul, is if you get this hype, if you don't get a network deal at all, will it still happen? Because you kind of said that maybe that's part of the reason this isn't going on right now.
Here's the realities of this. It's going to cost nearly, by the time everything is said and done, as far as the building of the rockets and testing and all of this stuff, we're going to be pushing $2 million. And as you guys had Eddie Braun on the radio here a few weeks ago, shortly after the Fox News broke, and he told you too. He's now funding this entire thing out of his pocket.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a lot of money for anybody. And so the hope is their plan is to kind of regroup, get some buzz and some excitement about this, and then do another effort to get a broadcaster on board to help cover some of those costs. If at the end of the day we're not able to secure a broadcaster, we still have 3 rockets built, a ramp up, and this thing's going to happen either way.
So you're just going to do it?
We'll just do it.
Do it.
So it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're past the point of turning back. They've just got a lot of skin in the game, so to speak, and
it's too late to turn back now.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I was on the phone last night for 2 hours with the team, just talking about this and really saying, okay, guys, what is our plan? We wanted to pick a date later this fall and say that's when it's going to happen. And we're still hopeful that it might be, but it's really hard to say, and we don't want to keep coming to the community and say it's going to happen now, it's not. It's going to happen now, no, it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't want to come to the community until we can have a solid date, and we just couldn't pick an in September date and feel comfortable that it was absolutely going to happen, because they are still very hopeful, and we're all very optimistic that we'll be able to secure a broadcast deal. It's just going about the negotiations the right way to get some buzz and some excitement.
Let's say you decided you were going to absolutely try to jump this year. What would be the absolute last day that if it didn't happen by then, it wouldn't happen this year?
Well, I'll tell you the date I don't know the absolute answer on that, but I'll tell you the date that we passed around and that we were debating for later the fall was October 26th. And I can't imagine that it would be able to happen much later than that, because we really start to get sketchy with the weather as we get towards the end of October and early November. It's great weather, don't get me wrong, but it's not. It's harder to predict what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And so that was the date we had tossed around, and
well, let me just throw something out to you, something for you to consider. October 25th is my birthday.
Yeah.
See, that's what we figured. If we did it
know.
the 26th, everyone would still be hungover from the Kelly class party.
That's right.
Then we wouldn't need a permit because fewer than 500 people would be there because they were all still sleeping after your party.
That's one way to look at it.
So that makes that brings up a good point. Yeah, I know. It's always about Kelly. Can you have a rocket-shaped birthday
I
cake
just thought,
too, please?
if you could jump on the 25th, that would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be a nice birthday present for Kelly.
It would.
Yes, we'd charge you double for a ticket.
I know you would.
But Paul, that brings up a question with different regulations or different rules that Jerome County has put into place. Is this now going to make it more difficult to get a permit if you withdraw your permit now?
We're going to have to. The letter we're sending to the county is that we're withdrawing our permit for this year, and then for next year, assuming this happens, and assuming the event. I mean, if the event is under 500 people, paid attendees, then we don't need a permit. But if it's a larger event still, then we would have to go back to the county. And yeah, the new regulations have higher bonding requirements, more strict requirements all around. And so
you'd essentially be starting over again as far as the permitting process.
From the county's perspective, we would we would have to go back to them with a new application. And we'd have to jump through more hoops and more stringent hoops, and we understand. And that was part of our conversation last night. Part of our conversation over the past few weeks has been that, if we do this, we're going to have to. I mean, the bonding itself has gone up from $1 per person to $5 per person.
Wow!
Look at what you've done for Jerome County. You've helped them improve their regulations. Isn't that nice?
I know. Right? Well, I'll tell you, when we filed for this mass gathering permit last year, we were told that this was the first mass gathering permit that had been applied for under those regulations from the 70s. Now, whether that's true or not, I know, but I am confident that it doesn't happen very often, if at all. And so shortly after we got our permit, they did look at those regulations and update them significantly. And one of those updates was the old regulations, the limit was 1,000 people. The new regulations are 1,000 people for non-commercial events and 500 people for commercial events. And so half the number of people now show up, and you're in the permitting requirements.
Yeah. Well,
but
okay.
yes, the short answer is we're going to have to start over with the county, and the requirements are more stringent under the new regulations, and we understand that, and we'll do what we got to do.
Well, I'll tell you, we'll still keep our fingers crossed, and we'll be getting back to you for updates on occasion.
No, that's great. And also, I follow the Return to Snake River Facebook page. We've said it before, but I can't stress that enough. You'll see, if you do that, you'll see just how committed these guys are to making this happen, and the fact that it is still going to happen. You would see the ramps be put up the last few days, and information and news as it breaks first goes through the Facebook page. In fact, when the ramp went up, we had a news channel call us.
Can you hang on for another 3 minutes?
Oh, I can hang on for 3 minutes.
Okay, that'll be our break. We'll be right back with Paul Arrington here on Top Story. 7360300 is the number to call, and we still have Paul Arrington on with us. He's the attorney for Omega Point Productions, the ones who will be jumping the Snake River Canyon. We just don't know exactly when. And to kind of recap what Paul has told us so far, they are still hopeful for a 2014 jump, but it might be next spring when they attempt this jump. But they do have the launch ramp up, and they've got everything else is falling into place. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And when we went into the break, Paul was just about to start with another thought. So, Paul, I'll let you go ahead.
I apologize. I'm a little verbose this morning. I was really just kind of tying up my my invitation to everybody to come and follow the Return to Snake River Facebook page. That's where you're going to find the most up-to-date information about the jump and about, what's happening and what's going on and what's playing in the rocket world. And so go on there, follow it. Scott Truax is really good about posting videos and picture updates.
He's got one or two a day on there.
It's true. And right now is a really, really, really exciting time for this project because, they've been stuck in the shop welding and riveting and stuff since January, but now we've got, the ramp is going up, the parachutes have been designed, and next week they're going to be tested, and we'll have the static test coming up in a few weeks. And so this is a really, really exciting time for the project. So follow us on Facebook, Return to Snake River.
Paul, I have a question. Since you are sending out letters, you said to pull your permit. If you decided to do it in the end of October, you would have to then submit another permit. Is that correct?
I think, and again, if it happened in the end of October, we'd have to really have a chat about it. But the realities of moving, if it happens at the end of October, are such that we would have to make sure the event was a sub 500 person event, because I believe the regulations require at least 120 days advance filing, and we're within that time already right now.
So pretty much, are you saying it's not happening in 2014? Is that what you want to say?
Well, as I told Kelly earlier on the phone, I'm hopeful that it would happen in 2014, but I'm not necessarily optimistic. But if it does happen in 2014, it won't be the huge. We're permitted for 25,000 people. It won't be that kind of an event in 2014. It would be a smaller. The current regulations say, 500 people, 500 paid attendees or less, and you do not have to have a permit. And so that's where we would fall.
All right.
But you can have people there who don't pay, right?
So the way the permits are, the way the regulations are worded, it's 500 people attending. That does not include workers and volunteers for the event.
Okay. So
there may be more than 500 people, but if they're the workers and volunteers for the event, and this kind of event does require, I don't know how many, but it will require a good number of workers and volunteers to pull off in the form of security and just all the various things that are happening. But the regulations say if you're going to have more than 500 admitted patrons, I can't remember the exact language. It may not say paid attendees, but patrons basically, then you're going to need to get the permit.
Now, for those who are just interested in this project, when you say you're going to be testing the parachutes and such, does that mean, I'm sure the people can't be there on the grounds, but if they're out driving by on the interstate or something, will they be able to see these tests taking place?
No, they're not going to happen there.
Oh.
Before I say, I don't know exactly sure where they're going to happen, but no, you wouldn't be able to see them. I know the parachute test is not happening here. But no, they're not tests that you'd be able to stop on the road and watch.
There will be. Are they going to shoot a rocket across the canyon before it's manned?
I don't know. There will be a test launch. I don't know for sure if that will be over the canyon or if that'll be, into Jill's backyard or what that'll be.
Yeah, right. You can do it. Go ahead, Paul.
I don't know the specific. There will be a test launch, but I don't know the specifics of that.
Okay. All right.
That's still sometime down the road because the parachute has to be tested, the static test. There's other tests that have to happen before we get to that point, and that's a little ways down the road.
All right. Well, we thank you for the time you've taken with us this morning and keeping us up to date on this, and we'll be looking for updates as the time goes on, Paul.
Thanks.
No problem.
Thanks for the breaking news, Paul.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it. Have a great vacation.
We'll talk later.
All right.
Okay,
see you soon.
bye.
Paul Arrington is the attorney for Omega Point Productions with the Scott Truax and Eddie Braun, who will be jumping the Snake River Canyon. It's just a matter of when. So we'll be keeping updates on that as time goes along. Coming up, we'll have Sergeant Ken Menzel with the Twin Falls County Sheriff's Department right here on Top Story. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Welcome back. And just wanted to let you know, because we've been talking about rockets and flying and all that kind of stuff, the folks at Far More of Idaho can fly over your fields and take pictures with infrared photography over your pivots, your irrigating systems, and you can see, they will upload this information to your computer, and then you can actually see via this infrared photography how your fields are getting, if they're wet enough or they're dry spots in certain areas, then you can take steps to fix that so that the whole field gets water. And it's really quite an advancement in technology, and one that doesn't really cost that much.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, it'll pay you because you can see, you think your field's getting wet, and then you see this, and you think, oh, you know what, we got a problem here and here and here. Then you can fix that, and your yields will increase as a result. So there you go. Give them a call at 324-3341 or at farmoreofidaho.com. Let's do this, shall we? We have Sergeant Ken Menzel here with us this morning from the Twin Falls County Sheriff's Department, and welcome, sir. How are you today?
Good morning.
Good
I'm
morning.
doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in.
You don't happen to know if the eastbound lanes are open yet on the interstate, do you?
I don't.
Okay. Well, because somebody is calling, and I don't know if maybe they started calling right about the time that
well,
I
either
was
take
talking
it or
about.
not. We're going to
Well,
use it
let's
all
just
of
take
its
it.
time.
Top Story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, I guess not. Okay, so they don't have any information for us.
All right.
All right. Well, so you got a couple of bad people for us, though.
I brought some more with me this week. That's right. The first one is Michael Shane Horsch. Last name spelling is Horsch. He was born 8/22 of 72. That makes him 42 years old. He's 6'2", 220 pounds, hazel eyes, brown hair, and he has a no bond warrant for unlawful possession of a firearm, which is a felony.
Oh.
If you're able to give us any information on Mr. Horsch, that number to Crime Stoppers is 732-5387. The other person that we'd like to talk about this morning is Maria Elena McKean, McKean. Her date of birth is 11/28 of 78. She's 36 years old. She's 5'3", 180 pounds with brown hair, brown eyes, and her warrant is a $5,000 warrant for obtaining a controlled substance by fraud and or forgery, also a felony.
All right.
So, bad.
Any help in helping us locate those two individuals, Crime Stoppers would certainly want to help thicken your pocketbook.
They get money, right, Ken?
Yep.
What was that number again?
732-5387.
Okay, great.
Right, yeah. Well, we got school starting here soon.
We do.
And I think people like me have to be reminded about the rules each year, especially like when school buses are on the roads, when you stop, when you don't have to and such.
Just stop, Kelly.
Yeah, when in doubt, stop. Absolutely. When you
That's
see the
what
kids.
I've been doing.
Good.
I look like an idiot on a 4-lane highway. I'm on the other side, and I'm stopping, you know. And
oh,
people are going around me
problems.
and giving me the New York salute and all that stuff.
Right.
But I'm saying, hey, at least it ain't going to cost me anything.
On a 4-lane highway, if you see a school bus stopped with the red arm out, it's flashing the red blinky lights and whatnot. If you're following the same direction the school bus is, yes, you have to stop. If on that 4-lane highway you're on the opposite side of the road, going the other direction with that center turnout lane there, you're not required to stop.
Okay.
But do pay attention to your surroundings. When you see a school bus, you should have a heightened sense of awareness just for the unexpected that might happen to jump out in front of you.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Which it
really
usually does, huh?
All about the safety of the kids.
Yeah.
For the most part, you know, there's certain areas in Twin Falls County that we see some problems with people not stopping or yielding the right of way to the buses. And the school bus drivers are pretty good to call us. They write down the license plate numbers, and we follow up on that. And we're often able to issue a citation after the fact when the school bus driver shows up for court and can testify to the fact that this was the person they saw driving
Somebody's
the vehicle.
surprised.
Hello.
Yep.
But you guys are doing something new, or you don't want to announce that? You do
absolutely.
want to announce this, okay?
This year we're going to be putting deputies on school buses as often as we can, as manpower allows. And those deputies on the bus will be able to observe those violations if and when they occur. They'll have a radio with them and be able to call out the vehicle that passed that school bus with the red flashing lights and whatnot. And we'll have cars in the area that'll be able to catch up to the offender and issue a citation. It's a misdemeanor.
How much does it cost?
that's up to a judge. It could be up to $300.
Really?
Yeah.
And in the city, if you don't observe the speed limit in the city and get picked up for that, it's a big fine.
Speed in a school zone is could be around $150.
Yeah. Yeah,
so it's more than just a regular speeding ticket.
Yeah, and so you got better places you can put that money. So just don't speed in a school zone.
And 4 points on your driving record. Yeah.
4 points on the driving. How many points do we have anyway?
In one calendar year. So from the time you first get your ticket, you have 12 months until that comes off your record. The points drop off. 12 months in a year, you can get your driver's license suspended.
How many points do we have?
You mean 12 points in a year?
Yes.
12 points in a year.
Okay.
So you get
three
a third
of those.
yeah.
You get 3 of those tickets, you're done. Yeah.
Done.
Wow. That's not good. That's not
okay, and
good.
school's starting earlier this year, right?
I think so, yeah.
It's like the end of August now.
Registration's already underway.
Yeah.
They've got some of the early kids out in Castleford already coming to school.
Oh, they must be thrilled.
Yeah, but when they get out early in the spring, when they get out in February, they'll be happy.
Or if they do.
Yeah.
Well, Sergeant Ken Menzel from the Twin Falls County Sheriff's Office, we appreciate it. See you next time.
Be safe out there.
Appreciate your time.
This is Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX. Con Paulo celebrating 35 years in business selling you cars. We'll talk to him next. 736-0300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Welcome back. We've got Con Paulos here with us, who's been selling us cars now for 35 years here in the Valley, and we got a lot of other things to talk about. We got car shows coming up, and as you know, Con is just involved in a lot of stuff, so we're going to hear all about it in the next 15 minutes. I do want to say that during the break, I took a call from someone with the Idaho Department of Transportation.
Okay.
They said that the accident that occurred last night between two semis, one of those, they didn't say this, but the fact is that one of them was hauling hazardous material.
Oh.
And apparently that one toppled over onto its side. So law enforcement and ITD are still there right now. The eastbound lanes of Interstate 84 between milepost 194 and 201 are still closed. Traffic is able to get around it on the frontage road, but they did say there's quite a bit of traffic, so it has a tendency to get backed up. So as you approach milepost 194, please be aware of this and be cautious because you can't just zoom through there. You got to turn off on the frontage road.
Right.
So, but he did say that they will be open. He didn't know when they will be opening it up. It'll probably be later today. But as of this point in time, if you're, it's in the eastbound lane, so if you're heading from Twin Falls to Burley, be aware of that.
Okay.
So, all right, there you go. The update. Con Paulos, good to see you again. What's
good
up?
to see you, Kelly.
Good
to
morning.
See you, Joe. Good morning.
So 35 years. Does it seem like 35 years?
You know, some days, but mostly not.
Yeah.
It's been a really fun ride and a great journey for me and the organizations and the people that I've had the opportunity to work with. So, very, very, very excited. We're celebrating, and we're going to celebrate probably all year this year.
Well, why not? It's your 35th year. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. So what kind of celebrations you got going on?
You know, we've just got fun things. This weekend starting, we're going to have the Snake River Corvette Club with their Corvettes doing a show and shine starting about 3 o'clock Friday afternoon. So they'll be at the dealership there at exit 168 in Jerome. There'll be an opportunity for you to vote for your favorite Corvette. Whoever gets the most votes, that lucky Corvette owner will take home a great big trophy in honor of the show and shine on the 35th anniversary. Then about 6 o'clock, the Joe Mama's Cruise will be lining up there at the dealership to head for Jerome City Park. So you'll get to see all kinds of cars, hot rods, and all different
We've gone to that
antiques.
before. It's amazing, all the interesting cars that are there.
It really is. And I was talking to the folks that are putting it on last week. They're estimating between 400 and 500 cars.
There's
Oh,
tons.
my
Have you ever
So
been,
that's
Cal?
going to be huge.
Yeah, I have. It's been a while, but I have been.
Yeah,
to it, yeah.
very interesting.
So
fun
they'll
cars.
cruise from our dealership up to the park, and they will have a barbecue at Friday night at 8 o'clock. They're having a rib eating contest.
Wow.
And so you can come cheer on your favorite team. And
Who's
we
competing?
actually have
Do you
two
get-
teams.
So it's businesses that have teams?
It is. We actually have two teams from Compala Chevrolet competing. So
Got a
our
lot
people,
of rib eaters, huh?
A lot of rib eaters. They were very excited to get.
Are you
to
on the
do
team,
that.
Con?
I am not. I'm on a diet.
I was going to say
behave.
doctor's orders. No.
But just as one time would
I
be
think,
okay.
I actually think I need one of your counseling sessions, Jill.
Afterwards,
Afterwards,
yeah.
I think I may need this.
Wow, good endorsement.
Yeah, thank you.
So anyway, just lots of fun. Then Saturday, of course, is the Joe Mama's Car Show. We will have prizes. We've got First Federal Bank, their new ATM machine, so you can come and put their card in and win cash or other prizes.
Wow.
And that'll be there all day Saturday. We'll also have the Idaho Central Credit Union cash machine.
Oh, that's
and
fun.
so if you stop by the dealership, you put your name in the hat. About every half hour, they'll be drawing somebody to get in and grab as much cash as they can get in, I think, 20 seconds or whatever.
That'd
the
be
time
fun.
is.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a party. We've got free food. We've got free hot dogs. We got pop. We're going to have a great time. And on the business side of things, we've got 0% for 72 months on any new Chevrolet. I just got back last night late from a meeting in Las Vegas with Chevrolet Motor Division, and they're celebrating, and so we just have lots going on.
How is the car business now? I know during the recession it was tough, but has it come back? Can you see the economy through your sales?
Joe, we can. It's gotten much, much better, and it's not where we would like it yet, but it's the old trickle down thing. We're seeing the dairy industry recover, and as they recover, we benefit from that and begin selling new pickups and new passenger cars. They just seem to be the base of our economy in this valley, and they just have been a driving force for years. So they're doing much better. We're starting to do better, and I think we're going to do much better for the years out.
Oh, good.
I know I'm friends with you on Facebook, and every once in a while you'll put on kind of just a little, I don't know, a thing about business, and it's more of the optimistic viewpoint. And if you were to, since you've been in business here in the Magic Valley for a lot of years, if you were to counsel someone who's just considering starting up a business and they're thinking, oh gosh, I don't know, the economy, this and that and the other thing, what would you tell them?
Go for it. If it's your dream and you have a passion, go for it.
What do you think the key to your success has been?
I think I'm a monomaniac with a mission, and I think that's what it takes to be in business for yourself. I think you've got to have the passion. You've got to be willing to work 24 hours a day if that's what it takes. But
how did you get started, Con?
My grandfather opened his first Chevrolet store in 1922.
Really?
In Magna, Utah. I actually saw a picture of the dealership yesterday at the Chevrolet meeting. They had it up on the screen for all the dealers to see.
Nice.
And it was July 4th, 1924. And my father was standing on the July 4th parade, and he was probably about 5 or 6 years old in that picture. So my grandfather was a Chevrolet dealer. My father was a Chevrolet dealer for 42 years. I came to Idaho 35 years ago and have been fortunate enough to survive.
Did you think that's what you would do, having your grandfather and father in the business?
No, it was really not a dream of mine. I had gone off to college, graduated, was in law enforcement and doing other things when suddenly I came back to the family business, and the rest is history, as they say. So,
wow.
That's interesting.
That is
so you were a
interesting.
cop?
I was for 7 years, yes.
Where at?
Wow.
Cache County, Utah.
No kidding.
Yeah, Logan, Utah.
That's interesting.
How did you like it?
I loved it.
You did?
Yeah, I really did. And it's like anything. I don't really think that if I decided to do something, I wouldn't love it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like
how
car
lucky have
business.
you been? It's
I think
it doesn't sound like work, right?
Yeah, no, it's how you think about it.
Yeah.
Jill. It's about, it's. I've never met a place I wouldn't live and enjoy. Okay.
Good for
you.
you.
I just wherever I'm at is where I'm happy, and I think it has to do kind of what Kelly spoke to. It's these little sayings and these little thoughts that you have in your head every day that determines your quality of life, regardless of
true.
how good or how bad things are.
Yeah.
It's true. You can
And
make something good or bad. Just
It's
by
a
your
state
thoughts.
of mind. Living is a state of mind. You can be happy or you can be sad. It's up to you, and you're the one who makes that decision.
Absolutely.
So,
Wow,
Absolutely.
that is
Yeah.
great. So, do you have any sponsors this weekend that you want to promote, or who's providing the ribs or things like that? Or are you guys doing it all?
I think that we're using local products, which we
Good.
always do. We've got, I think, Falls brand hot dogs, and I can't name the products specifically or the anyone else other than Falls brand at this moment. I'm drawing a blank. But
Sorry.
Yeah, we.
If I don't ask the one stumper
yeah.
question every interview,
she does that
forget
every
it.
day. So
Well, that's very good, Jill, because next time I'll come better prepared. I actually had my daughter handle all of that, so.
Yeah,
And,
well, we know you always use local products, so that sounds great. And do you want to go over the events again? Just
Absolutely. We're going to do, starting tomorrow, 3 o'clock, we've got the Snake River Corvette Club there with all their Corvettes, all different models. There's some fabulous cars there.
How many people are in that club?
I'd be guessing, but I would say 80 to 100.
So you just have to have a Corvette? Does it have to be a certain age or just a
No,
Corvette?
just own a Corvette and want to be part of something that, and they do a lot of very good things. They've been very involved with us in 60 Hours to Fight Hunger every year.
Nice.
They have supported all kinds of, they're very focused on kids. They like to do things for kids. And so they've been involved with Camp Rainbow Gold, taking the cars up there. They're just a really great group of people that just have a common love for the Chevrolet Corvette.
So that's it. You just have to have a Corvette and you can be part of the club. Nice.
So we're doing the show and shine. That starts about 3 o'clock. They'll be lining up probably starting about 5:30 for the cruise for the Joe Mama Car Show. They'll cruise through Jerome and around Jerome starting at 6. They'll go up to the city park where there's a barbecue, and then at 8 o'clock is the ribs contest, and then Saturday's the car show. All the cars will be on display there. There'll be vendors. We've actually brought in Rocky Mountain Accessories, big accessory trailers, and that's accessories for all types of vehicles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the brand is. So that's quite a show. Like I said, Saturday we'll have the First Federal ATM there. We'll also have Idaho Central Credit Union's cash machine. That'll be all day at the dealership. So you can bounce back and forth from the dealership to the park. They'll have food and activities up there.
Con, how long is the show on Saturday? What time does it start? Do you know?
I believe it starts at 10 a.m. and I believe it runs till 5.
Okay.
So if you're bored this weekend, it's your own fault.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's really a
'Cause
lot
it's
of
free.
fun,
All you
and
gotta do
the
is
cars
show
are,
up.
are awesome. I mean, awesome.
And they'll have a burn off Saturday where they burn the tires, smoke. That's what everybody gets. And they also have
Tire shops love that.
Yeah, and they also are going to have what they call a cackle contest.
What's a cackle contest?
Have you ever heard them wrap up a race engine where it pops and cackles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what they do. They get different cars to compete, and whichever one sounds the best will win the cackle contest. So
Wow.
it's really a lot of fun. They really have a lot of things going on. It's kind of fun
Some
stuff.
people think I cackle, so I'm glad it's just limited to cars. That's a good thing. I've never heard of that before. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, see, we
See,
learned
there you
something
go.
new today.
Learned
It's a great
something new
day.
today.
Absolutely.
Cars cackle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anything else going on?
Just come visit us. Think of us when you get ready to buy your next car. We, I think, do things differently. I certainly have prided myself in doing the right thing for the last 35 years. And, and just a little example of that is when we sell you a car, we give it to you with a 5-day, 250-mile, full refund, full exchange.
Oh, really? So
you don't even have to tell us why you want your money back.
You can just come back after 5 days.
5 days, 250 miles. If you're not satisfied with something we sell you, we're going to take care of you. And that's how we build our business, very honestly, over the last 35 years.
That's kind of unique to a car dealer, isn't it? Are you the
I
only
think
one
so.
who do
Yeah,
that?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's great.
It is unique. And it's, the thing that we found is that it doesn't happen very often because by the time you make the decision to buy a car, if it's done correctly and you get through the financing process, you don't want to do it a second time. And,
Right.
But honestly, if you're dissatisfied with something we sell you, tell us. We're going to take care of you. And that's the way we do business.
Do you find it definitely improves customer service where people will then be customers for life if they've had to bring it back? Have you had to deal that way?
Joe, we've sold We've sold 8 people in the same family. We've sold 4 generations since I've been here in the same family. We've had very loyal customers and from all over the valley. I mean, and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
We have a great following down in Elko. We've got, we just have customers coming from everywhere. So
wow,
it's kind of fun.
Well, and it's encouraging to hear a true success story too, because like I say, anybody can get discouraged in these times, although they're better now than they were a few years ago. But it's good to hear that the business is still going and things are still successful, and you can still do it out there. The American dream, I guess, is still alive.
It is, Kelly. I absolutely believe it, and sometimes I scold those of us that are born in this country to step back and take a look at the people that come here as immigrants,
right,
and what they've accomplished in their short period of time of being here. The great American dream is alive and well.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on 35 years, and we wish you 3,500 more.
Thank you.
Don Paulus, we appreciate you coming in today. This is Top Story. We have Kelton Hatch from Idaho Fish and Game next hour, so get ready with your questions and your comments. And welcome back to Top Story. 7360300 is the number to call. We have Kelton Hatch with Idaho Fish and Game. He's coming our way here very, very shortly. I don't usually do this, but the phone has been ringing off and on. I think somebody really has something important to tell us. Top Story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Kelly and Jill, it's Carl, your favorite commodity driver.
Carl,
Hi,
how
Carl.
are you? Be careful. What's going on?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Listen, I just came through that accident. Oh, man, a bad one.
That on I-84.
Yeah. You got to go on that frontage road, and it's backed up about 5 miles.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but you get through. It's just slow going. Anyways, I just wanted to say good morning and thoroughly enjoy you guys' show every morning.
Well, thank
thanks,
you, sir.
Carl.
We appreciate that.
We appreciate you listening, and be careful when you're driving.
Yeah, and thanks for that update, too. That's good to know.
We have the best listeners. They always update us.
I was just going to mention that the accident on the eastbound lane of Interstate 84 between Twin Falls and Burley, this is at between milepost 194 and 201. This accident happened last night between 2 semi-trucks. One was hauling onions. I guess the other one was hauling some sort of hazardous material, and it went over on its side. So they're working on that now to get it all cleaned up. But the eastbound lanes of the interstate are still closed. However, you can get through on the frontage road, and they do have a diversion there. The ITD has told us that when you get into that area, start approaching milepost 194, be cognizant of the fact, and that just be careful and take the little detour around on the frontage road. It might take you a little extra time. As Carl said, it's a little backed up, but you will get through it. Just give yourself some extra time.
Yeah.
So there you go. We have Kelton Hatch with us from Idaho Fish and Game. Good morning, sir.
Hi, Kelton.
Morning. How are you folks doing?
Good. How are you doing?
It's always fun to have you here because we're talking about fun stuff, you know?
Well, that's good. That's good. We want to stay on the positive side of things.
Yes, we do.
Speaking of which, you were telling us that I live in Kimberly, and we got hammered yesterday, and I was telling Kelly and even Tom when he was coming home from work from Twin, he goes, "No, I don't know. It poured, didn't it?"
Oh, it really, really rained hard. I mean, there's some estimates between 2 and 3 inches of rain in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I know that it washed out South Hills Road, and we're really concerned about the mountains, the mountain roads.
I can imagine, up in the South Hills.
Oh, the South Hills, because, see, we've already lost it a week ago when we got all that rain. We got about 4 inches over that 3 or 4 days. Up north, up in the Sun Valley area, they got the same. And the South Fork of the Boise has now been rerouted to the road.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're coming in from Featherville trying to get over to Couch or Flex Summit out of Featherville, the road's washed out for about 3 miles. You can get past Baumgardner campground, and you go about 3 more miles, and then the road is gone. It's become part of the river. Talking to the Forest Service, it doesn't sound like it might not be ready for hunting season. They probably won't even get started on anything for another month, and then there's a lot of damage. So you kind of need to plan things. And with all this rain, we haven't had a chance, and I don't know that the Forest Service has either, the BLM, to get up in the South Hills. But with the amount of rain that came down so quickly, I can't imagine some road damage, considering, I mean, it's blocked off foothills.
Yeah.
Yes.
Between 35 and Blue Lakes. And so, most of the wildlife should be good. You're always concerned for bird populations just because they're
Yeah.
You know, they're more vulnerable in rainstorms, but one thing about it, we will have a green up for the deer, and the elk should go into winter in pretty good shape with all this moisture.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I
sorry about that.
No, go ahead.
I just feel sorry for the farmers right now.
I know.
Oh, I know it. It's
we've heard
killing 'em.
of barley sprouting in the heads that got so wet, and so,
well, yeah, barley actually dropped over $2 a bushel.
Oh, I know.
Just because of and anybody that had malt barley, none of it's going to go malt now if it got rained on. So the going from $14 or $15 a hundredweight to closer to $6, and so there's a pretty good cut.
It has been crazy. We normally don't get rain like this.
No. We've got more rain in a couple of weeks than we typically get in 6 or 7 months.
I know.
Oh yeah,
crazy.
Easy. Yeah, that last little session that we had where we got almost 4 inches. I mean, that's over a third of what we normally get in a year.
Yeah.
So
well, I guess the key to take off this is we got all these hunting seasons. I was actually planning on leaving right after this show.
Yes.
To head off pronghorn hunting, and I usually set a blind up on water. There's really no reason to go pronghorn hunting right now because there is water everywhere.
Everywhere.
It would take a better skill set than I have to be able to sneak up on those little buggers right now, and especially where I hunt in the short sage. But this is really it's changed things up quite a bit.
Yeah,
wow.
It's good for some things, bad for others.
Yep.
So we got what's the last chance coming up for a controlled hunt application?
We do. The 15th is the last day. We've got all these leftover tags, and where we get these leftover tags from is when people like Jill put in and they get a tag, and then they decide, I don't want to hunt.
I don't want to kill Bambi.
Yeah, I just don't want to hunt that unit. My friends drew somewhere else, so I'm not picking up that tag. Well, those tags are left over, and so we have about 20% of them that go unclaimed.
You're kidding.
And so that's why we have the second application for them. It's gone from the 5th to the 15th, and then you should know by the 20th whether you drew those permits. There's a couple hundred permits out there, so go to your local vendor or go on fishandgame.idaho.gov. You can see what permits are left over for what areas, and you can apply again.
So what happened with the youth tags? Is this the one where remember the debunked what you don't know? Look at your face. What you don't remember?
Well, I'm just trying to.
What, are you kidding me?
He's trying to forget.
No,
the separate 800 number, the protest. Hello, what happened?
I know what you're talking about. I was just frowning at you.
Why did she ask me? But are they part of this?
No, those kids have their tags.
They have their tags.
Thanks for throwing salt in a nearly healed wound.
Well, I thought you were going to have another draw like in August, or did they already do that for them?
This is August.
This is the one. So this is the one that they delayed, the ones that waited.
Yeah, that waited. Those kids that didn't apply on the first round.
They're in this one, right?
The ones who followed the rules and didn't apply on the first
Okay,
round.
so yeah.
See, you guys are just really trying to get this going again. I can see the way you two are.
I was just curious.
I knew I should have sent somebody else today.
I was thinking the leftover tags are probably from the 9-year-olds who applied and got them. I'm kidding.
Some of them might have been. They forgot to pick them up.
Yeah.
I was going to ask too, if you do a draw on one of these and you don't pick up your tag,
it just dies now.
So there's no penalty?
There's no penalty on these.
Right.
I kind of like the idea of what we've done with our big game, our trophy species, where you pay for the tag and it's just automatically sent to you. But
yeah.
But this you have to pick them up. So is that extra step that people don't do?
Yeah, they forget sometimes.
You forget?
I don't, but sometimes people do.
So when you get it, you notify them, correct?
Yes, we send them all a little card.
Okay.
People change their mind.
5x9 hunters, whatever.
We got a caller. 736-0300. Top story. You're on the
air.
Good
Here
morning.
you go, Kelton.
Hey, good morning. I see a lot of dead deer along the interstate over here in the Bliss King Hill area. How do you get a deprivation tag?
The depredation tags, we've got very few depredation hunts going on right now. We have a list if you sign up in the back of the regulations when we have depredation hunts, we call those people that get those applications in first, and then they can be eligible for those depredation tags.
What are those?
Depredation tags are a permit that when landowners are having issues with lots of deer or elk coming onto their property, eating their commodities, we will issue permits to hunters to go in and if we can get the landowner to let people on their property, we'll issue permits to people to go kill those animals. And when they're shooting at them, it chases them off, so they typically don't hang around there very much. We don't have a lot of depredation hunts anymore in the Magic Valley region. It's because, like right now, a lot of people don't know that we had a lot of hunts open August 1st. There's a lot of rifle hunts going on right now. August 1st, we had a lot of elk hunts starting, and they're called greenfield hunts. And what that allows people to do is in the month of August, in certain areas where they purchase their tags, they can go start hunting elk on August 1st within a mile of agricultural or ground, tilled ground. And that's to help haze or keep the animals out of the farmers' fields. And so what this gentleman's talking about is he's just saying if there's any permits going on in that area.
Because one of the dead ones on the road?
Well, there's a lot of animals. There's a lot of animals this year. We had very, very mild winter. We had a bumper survival. We had less than like a 5% die-off or winter kill on big game animals. Typically, you're somewhere around 40% to 50% of fawn survival. Last year, from our radio-collared animals, we had less than a 5 to 6% of those pass away, die over the winter. There's a lot of deer out there this year, and so therefore you're going to be seeing more roadkill. People do really need to be cautious. I mean, I was not too far from DMB the other day, coming down Addison and east of there, had deer come across the road right out there in the middle of the flats. I've had them cross Kimberly Road on me. There's very few roads in this valley right now that don't have deer in cornfields or in barley fields or in hay fields at night. And if you're near Rock Creek or any of that stuff, there's just, I mean, we're getting moose in town, we're getting deer in town, and so people just need to be cautious in those wee hours of the night. My son was coming home the other night, and they had 4 head run across on Falls, and it was in town.
Yeah.
And so you have to be pretty cautious. There's just lots of critters out there.
I heard there are a lot over there.
Well, down here, it's been a month or so ago now. I was coming to work, turned on to Park Avenue here, and there were several deer that ran across right in front of me there. If I hadn't been paying attention, I'd have nailed one.
Out on the
or they would have nailed me, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
Orchard too.
It's just
in
right
the
out
morning.
here. Just
Yeah.
right out here.
It'd cost you a lot in car bills, but it'd cost probably them their life. But
it
I was
might.
going to tell people if they do hit a deer, you can salvage those deer. We have salvage permits.
What do you mean?
Like if you run over a deer on the way home, Jill, you can actually go online, print yourself off a permit, and take that deer home and use it for sustenance. You know, you can butcher it and eat it.
So you're eating
Okay, so how does that work? So let's say you're going home, you hit a deer, then do you have to go home and get the permit?
I know,
come back
and you
get the
come
deer?
back?
Nope, you can just field dress it right there and load it up. And I mean, if it's still alive and it could possibly, if it's just got like a fractured leg or something like that, and you kill it, then that's not good because a lot of times those deer can recover from that. But I mean, if it's rendered helpless and you can get it, but you need to go home, get online, print yourself off a salvage permit. That way we know where deer are being hit and we know who picked that deer up.
Okay.
Honey, I brought him dinner.
I could just say that. When you said
Guess what's for dinner?
field dressing, I could just see Jill out there with a big old hunting knife field dressing
She's
a deer.
probably just got a little
I would
cute,
wrap its
dainty
little
knife with like a
leg.
2.5-inch blade, you
I
know.
don't even have a blade on me. Are you kidding
That's
me?
too violent.
Yeah.
I would wrap its little leg and hopefully it got a home okay.
She would, yeah. She'd send it back out
Well,
into
typically
the forest.
they run into the side of your car, so it's not a leg, it's a head. And it usually kills
Well, you
them or
said it
breaks
could
their
break
neck.
their leg.
Well,
They
you
could be
could
fine.
if they tried to jump over it and
I have
flip
to
it.
eat him if I break its leg? Oh,
Or
my
if
goodness.
you break its neck, you have to eat it.
I'd
Jill.
call you. I
Okay.
would call you.
We have Kelton Hatch with Idaho Fish and Game here, and we'll be right back on Top Story. We are back here on Top Story. 736-0300 is the number to call. We have Kelton Hatch with Idaho Fish and Game. And yesterday's $100 instant winning name is David Payton.
David Payton, congratulations.
And your $100 word of the day for today is grill.
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 How appropriate for Kelton.
If
You hit it on the road?
If you kill it, you grill it.
Yeah.
You can't grill
You
it till you
break
kill it.
You break it, you eat it,
Yeah,
and then you grill it. There
Yeah,
you go.
You betcha.
Grill.
You betcha. It's grilling season right now.
It is, absolutely. So you can go to our website, newsradio1310.com, click on Word of the Day, type in grill, Grill, And listen tomorrow, and if you hear your name tomorrow and you played the word today, you win $100.
There you go.
I would buy you some barbecue briquettes and maybe even a new
tri-tip
grill and some tri-tip. Yeah.
Well, hang in
Some
also
grill.
because Kelton has his roadkill recipe of the month. So
Yeah, pronghorn.
it's towards the
We're
end
gonna
of
do
the
pronghorn.
pronghorn.
Even though you won't be going hunting for pronghorn.
Well, I'm
today.
going next week
Oh,
because it's
okay.
supposed to be 95 degrees. So if I can get it warm again out there and we can dry a little bit of the puddles up, then it's time to. Just too many water sources right now.
Do we still have? Well, I suppose that's kind of a stupid question with respect to private property with hunters out there.
We still have a lot of issues. We every year we lose more and more land. We've had Simplot over in the Owyhees that they're locking up several thousand acres of theirs just because of issues that they've had with water systems and different things. So I guess the thing is, I don't think things have really changed a ton from the number of people that are participating in, or not adhering to the rules. But we just got a lot more people out there. And not necessarily all of them hunters, but what I wanted to do is just remember to leave it better than you found it. If you don't like people throwing McDonald's wrappers and beer cans in your yard,
Right.
you can't. Don't leave them out on public ground. Don't leave them on private ground because these landowners make a living with this land. It's just they're as attached to their ground as you are your own yard. And so just have if the gate's open, leave it open. If the gate's closed, reclose it, and obey the no trespassing laws. The more we have issues with this, the more and more land we'll continue to lose. And I just wanted to make that, tell folks. And if you see people breaking the law, make sure to get their information and call CAP or call us at the regional office, and we'll go talk to them.
Doesn't it make you shake your head that people value the outdoors so much in Idaho, but yet they don't take care of it, like the garbage and the trash and the stuff that we hear?
I think most of them do. I think it's just a small minority.
I think it's just like
Small
anything.
minorities polluting a lot, though.
Yeah, they do. And I think it's just like anything else. You always have just one or two bad eggs that, cause the issues. And do you want your spider? He's
Spider on the
he's wanting
coffee
to
cup.
go swimming.
We don't charge extra for that.
And so we'll just
no
drop
extra charge for the meat.
A little olive oil would be great, right, Kelton?
A
There you
little
go.
olive oil and maybe some Italian breadcrumbs.
There
and
you
so-
But stay tuned. Maybe that'll be the recipe.
You bet. And so, but no, I just wanted people to kind of be aware of that. Lots of hunting seasons going right now. Like I said, we got elk, lots of deer seasons kicking off on the 15th. Pronghorn archery's on the 15th. Then we go straight into archery, the general archery seasons. I was going to tell you, we actually got our season set for sage grouse. A lot of people were wondering if we was going to have a sage grouse season this year. We are. It's going to be September 20th to September 26th. One bird limit. And so we're going to have that season, and the general waterfowl seasons are set. The big change in the waterfowl seasons is this year they're going to increase the bag limit on white-fronted geese and white geese. We're just having a lot more geese move in from the Midwest and from up north. These white geese, Ross's geese, and not Ross's, but
See, even the
speckled
birds are
and stuff.
coming out west because of the
They're
situation.
like, it's raining too much out east.
It's raining too east. Yeah, but it's going to 10 white-fronted geese and 20 white geese. And so the snow geese, we're just trying to get we've got areas in the country right now that have 365-day-a-year waterfowl seasons trying to remove because they've got so many white geese and white-fronted geese that they're doing so much damage to their breeding areas that they're eating themselves out of house and home, and we're really concerned about a major population crash if we can't reduce the numbers of these geese. And so that's why these numbers have kicked up. And so our seasons are in the Magic Valley is going to start October 11th and go to January 23rd. You can get more of that information online.
All right. Do we have more hunters than we used to?
We do. The thing is, what you always hear is the percentage of the state's population is decreasing. So like at one time, like when I was in high school, it was closer to 30 to 40%. Some of our communities were 60% hunters, 50% hunters. Now that percentage has dropped, but we only had 700,000, 800,000 people at that time.
Yeah.
Now we're at 1.7 million people. A lot of those people moved in, and over statewide, we hover somewhere between that 10 to 30% depending on the community. And so the percentage of hunters is down, but the overall number of hunters has increased.
So we're selling more hunting and fishing licenses.
So you think people that are moving in aren't hunters or are? I mean, it seems like it's diluting a little bit.
Well, yeah.
I moved in. I'm not a hunter.
I think it's just culture, people's hobbies, what they do, and some people that move in from big metropolitan areas have never hunted.
That's right. You're looking
Time to
at
get
one.
them started. 7360300 is the number to call.
We can take you, Jill.
Yeah,
No,
we'll be right back. 7360300. Always the number to call. If you have any questions or comments for Kelton Hatch from Idaho Fish and Game, now would be the time because we're kind of getting on here, and he won't be here all day. All right.
No, he won't.
Much as we'd like to have him for all day.
He's always fun.
He's got other things he has to do.
Got things he has to kill.
That's right.
Things he's got to do.
I wanted to tell you, with all this rain we're getting, so we're probably getting more issues again on feedlots and dairies with the manure situation. Well, the Stanley & Company has a low-end honey loader that can take care of that. This liquid manure, frozen manure, dry manure, it doesn't care.
It's manure.
You can load it up, and if you want to see these in operation before you purchase one, you can get a hold of Pat Hartzell with Stanley & Company, and he can make an appointment for you to go out to one of these places that has one in operation. You can see it work. You can talk to the owner. You can kick the tires. You can open the doors. You can rattle the chains. You can beat on it, and just to see how it really ticks. And I think you'll be impressed with the low-end honey loader from Stanley & Company. Pat Hartzell is the guy. 280-1167 is his number. That's 280-1167 for Pat Hartzell with Stanley & Company. So, we got bears around here?
Well, not down in Twin, but we've got lots of bears up in the Wood River Valley and out in the Bennetts and all around those areas, and we're just having major issues this year with them.
Really?
Why is that?
Well, it's because they found that it's easier to come in and eat a donut out of somebody's garbage than chase down a ground squirrel.
I just saw on the news this morning
I found that too.
In Colorado, the bear got into the service worker's front seat. The passenger side was there a half hour and ate his turkey lunch.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm surprised he was there
And then
that
he
long.
went. And then he went away. They had pictures of him. He's just sitting there in the front seat of the truck.
We've had them knock out windows to get to pizzas in people's cars.
Yeah.
And so
they left the windows down.
Yeah. Well,
So
it saved on damage. Maybe
Yeah.
he didn't eat the seat too much.
Yeah.
So Yogi Bear is alive and well.
Yogi Bear is alive and well.
And he's a junk food addict, for gosh sake.
Wouldn't you be? I mean, if
I don't know. What do they normally eat?
Berries and roots and bugs and carrion and whatever.
Honey.
Well, they're not Boo Boo, or what is his name? Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, okay.
No, and so, I mean, I guess they probably would if they can find it. But, we just have a lot of issues this time of year with the campgrounds and with people up in the Wood River Valley getting into their barbecue grills and getting in their garbage cans. So if you're in any of these areas that do have bears, just, and I'm gonna actually, for people down in the Twin Falls area, if you're tired of skunks, don't leave food sources outside for them. It's the same exact principle. When you feed your cats at night or your dogs at night out on your back step, skunks are going to come and eat it. Well, so are bears. Because
even magpies.
Magpies. It's easy food to get. If you don't want wildlife in your yard depredating your gardens or your dog food, your cat food, your bird feeders and stuff, don't leave them out at night. That's when most of these animals are around. People up in the, if you're up camping in up in the Wood River Valley, I would definitely suggest keeping your food away from your tents. Have your cook fire a little bit away from it. Don't leave food out on. We had a bear up in Baumgartner Campground that is in the middle of the afternoon day. Younger bear crawled right up on the picnic table and was cleaning up the scraps from lunch. Food was there.
Because her husband wouldn't. No, someone's got to.
Great photo opportunity.
Yeah, great photo opportunity. But just be cautious out there and take care.
Are you supposed to put it in the trees? They say when you're camping, put the food in the trees. But can't they climb into the tree?
Well, they can, but you put it over a branch. It's a bivy sack. You'll just throw a rope over a branch so that they can't get out to it. And a lot of times, if it's that high up in there, they're not gonna. shimmy out to the end of the branch because they can smell something. But in a campground, it really doesn't do you any good because your neighbors are also probably not cleaning up as well as they should. But if you're off solo camping, just do your part, do the best you can, and warn folks. But see, we had a grizzly bear that had to be put down this last week up in the Island Park area, and I was just going to tell people it wasn't habituated to people's food, but it was habituated to beef cattle. And so it had been killing a lot of cattle, and so but every year we end up putting down several bears because of garbage and foods and things like that. So the grizzly bear was put down because of beef cattle, and when they start getting into that, that's what happens to them. So. Yeah. But just so people kind of knew about that.
So are the cute little black bears, are they still dangerous to people?
Very much so. There's actually more attacks by black bears because the numbers are so much higher than there ever thought of being about grizz. Grizz can be pretty aggressive, but a black bear with cubs can be just as aggressive.
What do you do if you see him? Just walk away? Not walk? Crawl?
A lot of times, I mean, I've never really ever had too many incidences. I've actually had a black bear walk right into a tent when I was up guiding and over in Wyoming, and so one gunshot round through the tent and it took off. But I didn't shoot the bear because there's too many other things around. But you just have to. You can either.
Well, hang tight. We'll be right back. Okay. Kelton Hatch with Idaho Fish and Game. 736-0300 is the number to call here on Top Story, and we have Kelton Hatch with Idaho Fish and Game. Questions or comment time right now, and we have a caller. Top Story, you are on the air with Kelton Hatch. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I don't want to take away from Kelton's time, but you're on the bear subject, and it's very important people learn what to do in bear country. Last year, archery elk season up at Bear Creek, I ended up shooting a bear in our camp who destroyed the neighbor's camp, brand new fifth wheel trailer to get inside and get to the food.
Wow.
Climbed up the ladder on the back of it, tore the roof open at a vent, and destroyed the inside of the trailer. Fortunately, they were out on a mine claim that they were working, and that bear came back over to our camp later on that morning, and I had a bear tag, obviously, and I shot him and took him home and ate him, but
was
just a little black bear.
Oh, was he wearing a little hat and a tie?
Well, the thing about it, he was not afraid of people. The night before, I chased him off 4 or 5 times, and he'd just go out of sight for about an hour and come back in the camp and rummage around. And he's obviously done things like this before because he knew how to get into these folks' fifth wheel trailer.
Well, we do appreciate you taking that bear, because if you hadn't have, we would have had to gone up there, and so we really appreciate sportsmen that are willing to do that, because a lot of times they aren't, and so that we appreciate that. And
so you can do that without having a bear tag or something.
Well, I mean, if you feel your life is threatened, if it comes in and your life is threatened, you can harvest that animal. You can't take it home. You'd have to call us, and you'd want to field dress it and try to preserve the meat, because bear is a very, very table friendly food.
So do they have a good sense of smell where they can smell stuff inside a camper, or do they just see a camper and know, just know that food's there?
No, they've got a very keen sense of smell. They can track you down by just, it's not much different than your dog. That's how they live, is by their nose, and so that's why we've had bears knock out windows in cars, because they can smell the pizza through the car, and things like that. And so
I know what that's like.
My question: why leave a pizza in a car if you're not in with the pizza? I don't get that one.
You
on a hot
half
day,
of it.
Keep it warm that way.
You eat half of it. You get home late. You just leave it in the car because it's cool. I don't know.
I'm not a guy. I guess I don't think like this. So anyway,
there's pizza laying all over the house in college kids, so it's like,
just pick it up.
Too. They wouldn't have anything to eat.
I know.
So how's fishing?
It's terrible.
What?
It's terrible.
You got too much water.
Too much water.
It's pulled all the mud out of the hills.
Yeah.
And so the lakes are just gross right now. They're just chocolate milk. And the fishing, I had a buddy that he's really a good angler. I mean, I work with him, and he fishes somewhere every weekend for 2 to 3 days. If he doesn't take,
he's hardcore.
He's hardcore. And I mean, he fishes all day. His girlfriend comes over from Idaho Falls, and that's all they do for 3 days of a weekend, or if
I
they take
cannot
friends.
imagine anything worse. But anyway,
You
go
know,
on.
well,
I would not be his girlfriend. Oi.
no way. But she loves it too. She's the only
Tom
one who
probably wouldn't like that
He was
either.
feeling bad because she's the one who caught the 2 fish that they caught this weekend. Typically, they're 50 fish couple, over a weekend, and it was just really bad down at Salmon Falls Creek. The streams will probably start clearing up sooner, but we've had lots of slides. But all those streams going into the lakes were full of water, and it's brought a lot of dirt and mud, and so it's
Is
really
it hard
got
on the fish when it's that murky for them?
Oh, it's not good for them, and it throws them off their feeding schedules. And so, typically you don't have any die-offs and things like that. But one nice thing is we were seeing some bad algae blooms that were killing dogs and stuff like that. Sometimes you'll get that blue-green.
Yep.
There's some different type of
Like
algae.
what happened in Toledo?
But with this colder rain and stuff like that, that'll help disperse those algae blooms and also turn the water up enough and cool it off enough that we should be able to get rid of that. But it's probably going to be another week before we get back to decent fishing. Fall is always the best fishing, and so
Is it?
I've never fished in the fall because I'm usually hunting. But a lot of my buddies that are avid fishermen, that's what they wait for.
Why do
is
they
fall
say
fishing.
the fall?
Less people on the lakes.
Oh.
It's cooler. The fish have been eaten all summer. They're good and fat. They're trying to stockpile calories for the winter, and so they're aggressive. But just less people out on the water because a lot of your hunters are also anglers, and so when half your 3/4 of your people are out hunting, there's just less competition for the fish.
Yeah. So if a person were to go fishing right now, would you just suggest not, or is there any place to go?
I would head to the in-town lakes and ponds, probably like Durkee's or over to Oster Ponds and things like that. The sturgeon fishing could still probably be pretty good in the Snake in some areas. But a lot of your lakes and your streams up in the hills, the streams will be clearing up a little bit here, and they should come on quicker. But I think it's going to take a while for these lakes to settle out and kind of calm down a little.
Interesting.
And so, but no, just get out and have some fun. It's beautiful. Cooled things off a bit.
Yeah.
It feels like we're in the Midwest when it heats up during the day because of all the humidity.
Yeah.
But when you head to the hills, just be prepared.
This isn't humid. If you've been to Ohio,
It's been 85% humidity.
You're kidding.
85 to 90%.
How come
humidity.
it doesn't feel the same as it does in Ohio?
Well, because it's not 110.
But it's a dry humidity.
It's a drier.
It's a drier humidity.
But no, in the mornings I check humidity before
You're
you
kidding.
bell hay and stuff, and in the mornings it's setting around 80 to 85.
Well, Kelton, we're out of time.
Oh, we have his
sir.
recipe, roadkill
we'll
recipe
be back
afterwards.
with that. We'll be back with that
Yeah.
after the Huckabee Report. And you can hear the Huckabee Report each weekday at this time, brought to you exclusively by Waddell and Reed. Laura Nelson, Josh Funk, and Steve Stanger are the financial advisors. One thing I haven't talked about yet this morning, and that's Dave Hansen at Canyon Pawn.
That's right.
If you haven't heard about Canyon Pawn, it's the newest pawn shop in town. It's a nice, clean, wonderful store that's right on the corner across from Will's Toyota.
On Shoshone.
On Shoshone Street, South Shoshone.
That's
yes.
right.
I think I said South Washington a time or two, and somebody
You did.
corrected me
You
on
were,
that.
taken to task.
Yeah, but I don't care if you're looking for whatever you're looking for. He's going to have it sooner or later. And a lot of the stuff he has on his shelves still in the box, still new in the box. He had a bunch of woodworking equipment in there the other day. I'm talking about the table saw, the router table. He had a sliding compound miter saw. I mean, this was nice stuff. So he might still have it. I don't know. You can stop in and check, or you can give him a call at 933-2600 if you like. Also at canyonpawn.com. So we have Kelton Hatch with us, and
he's featuring his
Road-
roadkill recipe of
that's
the
right.
month.
Yeah. We're going to go with pronghorn since pronghorn season opens up on the 15th. This is from the Idaho Wild 100 recipes from the Fish and Game Department. This is breaded pronghorn cutlets. First, you take the cutlets, 6 to 8 ounces
Isn't the
of cutlets.
first you actually have to catch the pronghorn?
You do. You have to
Okay.
chase it down. Because you don't buy that in a grocery store.
No, you don't.
You know.
Okay, so
this
supposedly
is just
you caught
for you
it.
hunters.
Okay,
And so
yeah.
you shot it. You
Okay.
don't catch them.
No.
And so then you take it, and they suggest soaking it in buttermilk for 8 hours prior. So you slice these cutlets thin, about a 1/4 inch thick. Then you take egg, salt and pepper, parsley, teaspoon of parsley, a half a teaspoon of nutmeg, a half a cup of cream, and 4 tablespoons of butter. You mix all that together except the butter, and then you dip the cutlets in 4 tablespoons of breadcrumbs, 3 tablespoons of grated Parmesan, and a half a teaspoon of rosemary. Fry it. Make sure you don't overcook it because it dries it out, and they're really good. You can eat that with any game meat, though.
And they can get that on the website, on the Fish Game website?
They can. Yep, they can.
We should put that recipe on our website.
I'll give it to you guys, and that'll be easier for them to find.
And you know what goes well with that? Some nice vegetable dishes out of my cookbook. Comfort Food Gets a Vegan Makeover.
Okay, before we run out of time, I just want to say thanks to Kelton Hatch from Idaho Fish Game for being here. And
thanks for having me.
You're
always
welcome.
Fun. We'll see you next month.
Eastbound lanes of I-84 still closed at 184 through 184. Anyway, milepost 184 and eastbound lane from there for the next several miles. You'll detour through the frontage road, so be careful there. And we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Debbie Thomas with the CEO from the Walker Center. We'll be talking about depression
and Tim Voss from the Twin Falls Farmers Market. They have a special deal this week, and I'm actually going to have my table there.
All right, very cool. So we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Goodbye, Jill and Kelton.
Bye, Kelton. Bye, Cal.